Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was, above all things, a man of peace. And 40 years ago, as others have said, a year to the day before he was shot and killed in Memphis, Tennessee, he stood in this pulpit, in this house of God, and with the full force of his conscience and his conviction and his love for peace, he denounced the war in Vietnam, calling it a tragedy, a national tragedy that threatened to drag America down, to drag us to dust. As he put it then, there comes a time, not just for Dr. King, but for all of us, when silence is betrayal. Not just betrayal of your own personal convictions, not just betrayal of your country, but a betrayal of all of our joint responsibility to each other, to our brothers and sisters, not just in America, but all across the globe. And actually, the thing that I remember most about that sermon, given a year before he died, is that he did not direct his demands to the government of the United States of America, which was about to escalate the war in Vietnam. Instead, he spoke to the American people, calling on us to break our silence, calling on us to accept our own responsibility, and to help lead what he spoke of as a revolution of values. But the force of that revolution is the belief that we cannot stand by and hope that someone else will right the wrongs of the world. And this is my view, is the heart and soul of what we need to remember. It is the heart and soul of realizing the dream. Because there does come a time for all of us when silence is betrayal. There does come a time when we have to, each one of us, refuse to wait for others to act. A moment when we realize, as one of Dr. King's great teachers, Gandhi, said, we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. That time is here again. It's with us today. I believe, as I know many of you do, that it is a betrayal to stand silent and watch 37 million of our own brothers and sisters who literally worry about surviving every single day. It is a betrayal to stand silent while the disparity between the rich and the poor gets worse and worse and worse every single day in America, in the richest nation on the face of the planet. And I also believe that it is a betrayal not to speak out against an escalation of the war in Iraq. The issue, brothers and sisters, the issue is not only how we got into Iraq. The issue is how do we now get out of Iraq. And I want to say, because I just heard a gentleman ask the question a few minutes ago, I want to say for anybody in this room who doesn't know it, I voted for this war, and I was wrong. I take responsibility for that vote. It is not anyone else's responsibility. I accept responsibility for that. And the challenge today is not how do we achieve a military victory in Iraq. There will never be a military victory in Iraq. The question is how do we achieve a political solution that will actually bring peace? Escalation is not the answer. And all you have to do is listen to our own generals to know it's not the answer. The answer is for the Iraqi people and others in that part of the world to take responsibility for their own country. The best way for that to happen is for America to make clear that we're leaving Iraq, and the best way to make clear that we're leaving Iraq is to actually start leaving Iraq. This is why I've spoken out against an escalation of this war, and I've urged others to do the same. It's why Congress must step up now and stop this president from putting more troops in harm's way. If you're in Congress and you know that this war is going in the wrong direction, and you know that we should not escalate this war in Iraq, it is no longer okay to study your options and keep your own private counsel. Silence is betrayal. Speak out and stop this escalation now. You have the power, members of Congress, to prohibit this president from spending any money to escalate this war. Use that power. Use it now. Do not allow this president to make another mistake and escalate this war in Iraq. And I say to all of you, not just members of Congress, all of you who are here today, and the millions like us around the world who know that this is a mistake, your job is to reject the easy way of apathy and instead to choose the hard path, the path of action. Silence is betrayal. Speak out. Tell your elected leaders to block this misguided plan that's destined to cost us more money and, more important, more American lives. And you tell them, when they hear your voice, you tell them that the reward of courage is trust. When we speak out about the ongoing genocide in Sudan and Darfur, when we speak out against thousands and thousands of children in Africa being born with AIDS, an entire new generation of children with AIDS. Why? Because their mother can't pay for a $4 dose of medicine. The United States of America is better than this. Raw power alone, if anything has been proven over the last few years, is that raw power alone will not make you a leader. You have to actually have the moral authority to lead. If we want to lead, if we want to actually have the moral authority to lead, we cannot stand idly by and watch hundreds of thousands of people be slaughtered in Darfur, in Western Sudan. We cannot stand idly by and see thousands of children born with AIDS every single day in Africa. We cannot stand idly by and watch half the planet live on $2 or less a day. We are better than this. The United States of America is better than this. It is time, brothers and sisters, for America to be patriotic about something other than war. It is time. The world needs to see that we understand that we have a responsibility not just to ourselves, but to humanity. The world needs to see our better angels. God bless the memory of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. God bless the memory of Coretta Scott King. And God bless all of you. Thank you very much.